Okay, welcome back to you guys. Nice to see everyone here. Welcome to everyone online as well. This afternoon, I'm going to teach you guys Buddhist chanting. So if you guys would like to get one of the chanting sheets, that'll really help you for our session this afternoon. And for everyone online, if you guys would like to get access to this, you can go to our website, buddhadailywisdom.com, and you click on free books, and then just scroll down towards the bottom, and you're going to see this daily chanting sheet that we're going to be using as part of our session this afternoon. But first, let me just get you guys started with understanding the history of chanting before I actually teach you the benefits of it and how to actually do it. During the lifetime of the Buddha, everything he taught was oral. The ability to write things down didn't exist in that region of the world. That technology didn't exist. It existed in China. Now, you guys might not see writing something down as technology, but 2,500 years ago, that was technology, right? And it just didn't exist. The language that the Buddha spoke, it didn't even have a script because there was no need for a script. It was just purely an oral language. So they didn't even have like A, B, C, D. It just didn't exist because the technology didn't exist to write things down. So they didn't even have a script. It was just a spoken language, an oral language. So he would teach, and he would have these long discourses where he would teach, and then his students would remember his teachings, and they would come together every 2 weeks, and they would use chanting to recite his teachings orally. And this is how they would commit them to their memory. So chanting was a learning device. It was a learning tool. That's how it actually got started during the teachings of, or during the lifetime of the Buddha. And in the Theravada tradition, which there's three main traditions of Buddhist teachings, in the Theravada tradition, which is here in Thailand, Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, it's really been spread all throughout the world. It's in southern Vietnam as well. In this tradition, we all chant in the Pali language. This is the historical language of the teachings of the Buddha. So if you learn this chanting that I'm teaching you, you could go to any Theravada temple anywhere in the world, and you'd be able to chant right along with them, even if you've never been there before. You could go to Sri Lanka, you could go to Myanmar, you can go to your country. In your country, there's probably a Theravada Buddhist temple somewhere, and you could just go right in there and you'd be able to chant right along with them because we all chant in the same language. The other traditions like Mahayana Buddhism and Vajrayana Buddhism, they chant in their local language. So if you were learning Vajrayana Buddhism as a Vietnamese person, for example, you would need to first know Vietnamese, and then you could chant in that tradition. Or you'd first need to learn Chinese and then be able to chant in that tradition. But in this tradition, we all have this unifying language of Pali, and we all chant in the Pali language. Now, there's different dialects from place to place. Like someone who chants in Sri Lanka chants different than here in Thailand, but it's the same underlying language, so it all blends together. Even here in Thailand, from temple to temple, you'll hear slight differences. So what I'm going to teach you guys is the Pali chanting, and it has a bit of a Thai dialect to it. Like if somebody's trained their ear, you can tell whether someone's from Sri Lanka or Thailand or somewhere else based on the way that they chant. So you're going to be learning in Thailand. So I heard chanting as a, being around Thai people. So I chant in the way that like a Thai person would chant. So just know that that's the case, but you'll be able to chant with anybody and everybody. And it was used as a learning tool. It was used as a learning device. So you can see there's nothing mystical or magical with chanting. It's not a rite, a ritual, or a ceremony or worship. There's plenty of people that will tell you there's some special power if you chant this chant or something like that, but that's not the case. It was never used that way. It was never taught that way by the Buddha. So I'm going to share with you guys the benefits of chanting, but I just noticed my camera's stuck, so let me unstick the camera. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm going to teach you guys the benefits of chanting, because now that you understand the history of it and the origins of it, and it's nothing mystical and magical, during the lifetime of the Buddha, they used it as a way to commit the teachings to memory. If during the lifetime of the Buddha, if you didn't chant, you wouldn't be able to get to enlightenment because you had no way of actually remembering the teachings. Where nowadays, you can actually still get to enlightenment without chanting. This is the one thing that I will teach you, that if you didn't do it, that you'd still be able to get to enlightenment. But if you do chanting, you're going to experience these benefits. So the Buddha, when he teaches meditation, he teaches you to set up mindfulness in front of you. You'll see it in his guidance. We have the instructions of exactly how the Buddha taught meditation. You can see it. It's in the book series over there. And he says, Before you start meditating, set up mindfulness in front of you. What mindfulness is awareness of mind. So essentially what he's teaching you is to bring some awareness to your mind before you sit down and meditate, or whatever position you're going to use. Don't just plop down into meditation. So for me, when I'm chanting, it helps bring awareness of the mind. By the time you get into the meditation, you already have awareness of mind. Whereas if I didn't chant, when I was first training my mind, it might have been 5 minutes, 10 minutes into my meditation before I started getting benefit, because I was gathering my mind if I were just to plop down into meditation. But if you have this little period for a few minutes where you're doing some chanting, you're kind of gathering some awareness of mind before you get into the meditation. So now, right at the beginning of the meditation, you're already getting benefits. So that's what this chanting does, is it helps develop awareness of mind. It develops concentration and memory, because you're like exercising the mind, right? Because your mind is just like a muscle that if you don't use it, it's not going to be well developed. But if you went to the gym and you exercised your muscles, now when your friend's like, hey, can you help me move my sofa? Sure, no problem. I can move your sofa for you, right? So your mind is the same way, that if you don't use it and you don't exercise it, it's not going to be very sharp. It's not going to be crisp and clear. So the chanting helps you to exercise the mind and develop concentration and memory. Then it also helps you to develop this awareness of breath, because in order to chant, you're not only going to need awareness of your mind, but awareness of your breath. So those are the things that you need when you enter into meditation, is awareness of your mind and awareness of your breath. So right from the beginning of your meditation, you're going to start reaping the rewards and the benefits of having meditated. Whereas if you didn't do chanting, you would just plop down into meditation and you wouldn't have the ability to get benefit until you're maybe 5 or 10 minutes into the meditation. So you're going to get much more benefit using the chanting first. The chanting helps to slow, relax, and ease the mind into meditation. So if you're not doing chanting, you would like to figure out something that's going to help you do these things, right? Like I told you, you can still get to enlightenment without chanting. Chanting will surely help you train your mind, but if you're not going to do chanting for any reason, you would still like to figure out a way to set up mindfulness in front of you before you meditate. You would like to still develop awareness of mind, concentration, and memory by exercising the mind. You're going to need some awareness of the breath, and you're going to need to slow, relax, and ease the mind into meditation. Some other things that chanting does for you is, early in practice, I was having a lot of challenges. My mind was very polluted. I could barely meditate for even 1 minute. My mind was so polluted. It was like hitting a brick wall. And I was having challenges to see progress in my practice. But since I was focused on chanting at the very beginning, I saw this audible indication that my practice was improving, because week to week, month to month, my chanting was improving. And it kind of gave me some encouragement that my mind was improving, because I could see my chanting was improving. So my practice was improving. So you can see this audible indication that your practice is improving through doing the chanting. Another thing that the chanting helped with is developing respect and gratitude towards the elders and towards Gautama Buddha himself. What I mean by this is that since the lifetime of Gautama Buddha, for 2,500 years, these teachings have been handed down from person to person to person to person. These people will never know their names, but they found value in these teachings and they found them to be helpful and beneficial for their life. So they passed them down from person to person to person to person. And we have these teachings because those people preserved them, because they found them to be beneficial. And I have an enormous amount of respect for them, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have the teachings available to us today to be able to experience this enlightened mental state. So having that gratitude and respect for all those unnamed people was something that chanting helped me with, because I know that this chant that I'm chanting, it didn't just magically appear in the world, that it started off many, many years ago, and it's been handed down all these years to the point where now it's reaching me. And wow, this is so beneficial for me. Thank you so much, all those people who I'll never know your name. And then also Gautama Buddha himself, that you'll see from the translations that there's a lot of respect and gratitude and appreciation for the Buddha in these chants. And because of this, I don't think the Buddha actually created the chants himself. They were probably created by his students, either during his life or after his death. Because a Buddha wouldn't say, here, chant these chants to me out of respect for me. This would be arrogance and ego. But if you learn from a teacher how to move from anger, sadness, and frustration, and all those other discontent feelings to the peace and joy that is enlightenment, and this this teacher didn't want anything from you or expect anything from you, you'd probably have a lot of appreciation, gratitude, and respect for that person too. So I have an enormous amount of respect for Gautama Buddha, for what he did for 45 years to share these teachings, not to mention the 6 years of his personal journey to enlightenment. You're going to see that even having a teacher, it's challenging enough to get to enlightenment. If you can imagine doing it all by yourself and persevering to be able to do that, and then give up his royal throne to be able to now share the teachings and live a life of homelessness where he walked around in rag robes and he accepted donations for food. I have an enormous amount of respect for him, that his teachings led to what we're now able to experience today. And so this respect and gratitude that I have, it bubbled up in the mind towards these people, but then it also flowed over into other situations too. Because as I was growing up, as you guys might have heard in different classes that I've taught, that I had a lot of animosity and bitterness towards my mother because I had a lot of expectations for her, and she didn't meet my expectations, and I really wanted her to be a certain type of mother, and she was never that type of mother. But eventually I was able to let all that go, right, and get to the point where I was peaceful and joyful with her. But early on in my life, I didn't have respect for my mother. I didn't have respect for some of the other people around me. So by cultivating respect here for the elders and Gautama Buddha, it kind of overflowed into these other situations, these other relationships. And that's what allowed me to improve my relationships with those people. So if you find that sometimes you have difficulties showing respect to people, this can help you to build up that respect and appreciation in your mind, and then it can overflow into other relationships as well. Then, just like I always like to teach what something is, I like to teach what something is not too. Chanting is not anything mystical or magical. There's no magical powers associated with chanting. Now, you might go into some environment where someone says, hey, welcome to our temple. We've got this special chant that if you chant this chant for the next 10 years, you're going to instantly get wealthy, right? Or here, chant this chant. Your boyfriend or girlfriend is going to come back to you if you chant this chant, right? These kinds of things aren't true. This is just belief. Or here, chant this chant. You're going to get an extra long life if you chant this chant. Okay, well, I teach you, don't believe anybody, including me, right? Don't believe me, don't believe that person. If someone's telling you that, hey, there's this chant that's going to produce an extra long life, look around the temple. Do you see people 150, 200, 300 years old? If you do, then there's some truth to it, right? But if you don't see that, then you know that this isn't true. This is just a belief that people are having. So there's nothing mystical or magical here. If there was some kind of chant that could instantly produce wealth or instantly get your boyfriend or girlfriend back for you, don't you think that would have spread like wildfire through society by now, right? 2,500 years, there's been plenty of time for that to occur. Because you go eat good food at a restaurant, how many people do you tell? You probably tell 3, 4, 5, 10 people that you had this great food at this restaurant, right? Now, can you imagine if you found a chant that actually instantly produced wealth or instantly produced your boyfriend or girlfriend coming back to you? That would have spread like wildfire through society. So you can be sure that there is nothing like that exists anywhere in the world. This is just belief that people have. Because if there was something truly like that, it would have spread like wildfire. Everybody would know about it by now, because there's been plenty of time for that to happen. So there's nothing mystical or magical here. It's helping you to set up mindfulness in front of you, develop awareness of mind, concentration, and memory by exercising your mind. It's helping you to become aware of the breath, helping to slow, relax, and ease the mind into meditation, and ultimately get more benefit out of your meditation itself. That's what the chanting is doing for you. And you might experience this audible benefit that is helping you to see your practice is improving, and you might be able to see that you're cultivating this gratitude and respect for the Buddha and the elders. These are the benefits that you can see with chanting. So you guys have any questions on this? No? Okay, so I'm going to teach you 3 different chants. This first one I'm going to teach you is called the triple gem or the triple jewel, because there's 3 statements, and one is to pay respect to the Buddha, one is to pay respect to the teachings, and one is to pay respect to the community of practitioners that you're part of. These are the 3 things that you need in order to be able to get to enlightenment. Is you need to have confidence in the Buddha, access to his teachings, and you need to be part of a community. If you just have one or two of these things, you won't actually be able to get to enlightenment. And right now, you might not have confidence in the Buddha. That's okay, because you might have doubts in your mind. But ultimately, you're going to need all three of these things. If you just had confidence in the Buddha and you didn't have access to his teachings and you weren't part of a community, you wouldn't be able to get to enlightenment. Or if you just had access to his teachings and you didn't have confidence in the Buddha and you weren't part of a community, you wouldn't be able to get to enlightenment. Or if you were just part of a community and you didn't have access to the teachings and you didn't have confidence in the Buddha, you wouldn't be able to get to enlightenment. So you're going to need all three of these things ultimately in order to be able to get to enlightenment. So each event you go to in a Buddhist temple, they will typically start with this chant. This is like the first chant from the very beginning of any event that you go to. People will be chanting this, because this is called the triple gem or the triple jewel. So the way that I'm going to teach you all these chants is where I'm going to do it 4 times. I'm going to do it the first time by myself, just so you can hear it and you can hear how it sounds. Then I'm going to do it a second time, but I'm going to show you where I'm breathing so that you can learn where I'm breathing, and it'll help you to be able to do it. Then we'll do it a third time where you guys can join in, and I'm going to guide you through the chant where you can see where to breathe. But then we'll do it a 4th time where there's no guidance whatsoever. We'll just all harmonize together. Okay, so here's how it goes. This is the way this one sounds. This is our first time through. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Mahakawa Bhutang Mahakavanang Apivateyami Sawakato Mahakawata Tammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipano Mahakavato Sāvaka Saṅkho Saṅghang Namami. Okay, so that's the way it sounds. And what you might have noticed there is that I did a bow at the end of each phrase. This is to show respect to the Buddha, to the teachings, to the community. What you might see people doing when they do this in a large group is you might see them bowing to the floor. We call this in Thai, we call it a klop, or we might just call it a prostration in English, where they're bowing to the floor. Whether you choose to do any of these things or not, it's up to you, right? It's your practice. You can just sit there and chant if you like. It's your practice. It's up to you. If you like to bow, you can why, you can do anything you like. If anybody's ever trying to force you or control you to do something a certain way, that's their mind doing that. You can choose to practice however you like, but just understand that I usually will do this bow out of respect for these 3 things: the Buddha, the teachings, and the community. In the past, when I would sit in the community, then I would bow to the floor, but you don't have to. It's up to you, right? You don't have to do any of this stuff. It's your practice. So you choose for yourself what it is you would like to do. But just know when you're in a group of people, they will typically be bowing to the floor, and that's why, because they're showing respect to the Buddha, the teachings, and the community. So now I'm going to do it a second time, and I'm going to show you where I'm breathing so that you can have an indication of that. You don't have to breathe in the same place that I breathe, because again, it's your practice, right? But if you would like to breathe in these places, these are ideal places to take a nice breath, okay? So at the beginning, I take a nice deep breath, and then I start chanting. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Mahakawa. And then I take a breath here. Bhutang Mahakavanang Apivateyami. And then as I'm bowing, I'm going to be taking a breath. Sawakato Mahakavata Tammo. There's a breath here. Dhammang Namasami. Once again, as I'm bowing, I'm taking a breath. Supatipano Mahakavato. There's a little breath here. Sawaka Sankho. Breath here. Sanghang Namami. And then I bow. And I take a nice deep breath on the way into the next chant. Okay? So that's where the breaths are. That's the second time through. Now we'll do it a third time through. And you guys are welcome to join if you like. Okay? So let me show you guys this. So when people are holding these sheets, sometimes they put it in their lap, they put it on the floor, put it on your knee. You can put it wherever you like. Sometimes people like to put their hands together when they're chanting, and they like to hold it like this. So I'll just show you guys that as an option. It's really up to you how you would like to do that, but that's an option for you. Okay, so here, let's do this together. If you guys would like to join in, you're welcome to join in, and I'm going to guide you where the breaths are. Okay, so we take a nice deep breath. Arahang Sama Sammuto Mahakava. Breath. Sorry, I usually don't break it up like this. Let's start over at the beginning. Okay, nice deep breath. Arahang Sama Sammuto Mahakava. Breath. Potang Mahakavanang Apiwateyami. Breath. Sawakato Mahakavata Tammo. Breath. Damang Namasami. Breath. Supatipano Mahakavato. Breath. Sawaka Sankho. Breath. Sanghang Namami. Okay, I'm hearing you guys. This is pretty good already. I usually don't clap on the third one. It's not to the fourth one that I usually start hearing you guys, but I'm already starting to hear you guys. This is good. Right? That's how I know that you guys are chanting, when I can hear you over the mic and all this stuff. So we're going to do this a fourth time, where I'm not going to guide you. We're just harmonized together. This is where you pretend like you're on The Voice, or maybe Russian Idol or American Idol, or wherever it is, any kind of singing show that you guys have in your country. Just kind of pretend you're auditioning for that, right? Just really let it go. Okay? So here we go. Arahang Sama Sammuto Mahakava. Potang Mahakavanang Apiwateyami. Sawakato Mahakavata Tammo. Damang Namasami. Supatipano Mahakavato. Sawaka Sankho. Sanghang Namami. Okay, nice. You guys hear that? Sounding good, right? Yeah, that's only the first time. You guys have all week to get better. Right? That's good. All right. Any questions on this one? No? No questions? Remember, those of you guys online, you can ask questions too by putting that into Facebook, YouTube, or Zoom. Okay. So now let's go to the next one. This one, I just refer to it as the Namo Tassa. This is like a really simple chant because it's the same phrase, just repeated 3 times. If you're like growing up in Thailand and you're a little kid and you start mouthing a few words, this is one of the first things that they're going to start teaching you. I've seen little kids that are like 1.5 years old that can chant these chants because this is the first one that they'll teach you. So if you're having trouble learning all 3 at the same time like this, if you would like to just focus on one, you might just focus on this one first, then do the triple gem or the triple jewel, the Arahang Sammasambuddhasa. I found the third one to be more challenging, but some people say that that's easier for them, right? Because that's impermanence. Not everyone's going to have the same experience. So you can decide for yourself. But this one, I find it to be a lot easier because it's just the same phrase repeated 3 times. So again, I'm going to do it 4 times. I'm going to do it first myself so you guys can hear it, okay? Here's how it sounds. Namo Arhasa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Arhasa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Arhasa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Okay, so that's how it sounds. So now I'll do it a second time and I'll show you where I'm breathing. So I've taken that deep breath off of the last chant when I was bowing. So I took that deep breath and now Namo Arhasa Bhagavato. Breath. Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Big breath here. Namo Arhasa Bhagavato. Breath. Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Breath. Namo Arhasa Bhagavato. Breath. Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. So then I'll take a deep breath to the next one. Okay? So now we'll do it a third time. You guys can join in and I'll guide you in the breath. Okay? So you take a nice deep breath at the beginning. Namo Arhasa Bhagavato. Breath. Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Breath. Namo Arhasa Bhagavato. Breath. Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Breath. Namo Arhasa Bhagavato. Breath. Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Okay. So now we'll do it without any guidance. Okay. Anybody need a drink? Anybody need any water? No? Sometimes when you're chanting, you need to refresh your lips, refresh your tongue. Okay, so here we go. 4th time through, no guidance. You're on your own, no training wheels. Okay? Namo Arhasa Bhagavato. Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Arhasa Bhagavato. Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Arhasa Bhagavato. Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Yay. Sounding good. Yeah. Sounded nice. Okay. Questions on this one? No questions?
It sounds like it's vibrating or something. Is there a special way of breathing?
It's like projecting your sound. So it's like arahang. I don't know what a singer would say. Maybe it's a diaphragm, or I don't know what it is. It's just like you're really bringing it up out of here in order to chant. Yeah. Yeah. And that rolling, it took me a long time. Some of you guys probably already do this in your natural language, but for the American tongue, boy, it took me a long time to get that. Not that this being is an American, right? But the tongue was not trained to. Took me a while to get that. Okay.
The second word, T-A-S-A,
Yeah.
T-A, doesn't sound like T. How do you say it?
Namo tassa. So I realized when I started using the mic, because I never used to use the mic. I used to just teach without the mic. We didn't live stream. But since I started using the mic, I've kind of softened the sounds a little bit because I get that p, t, or p, p. So I started softening it a bit. So the way, if I didn't use the mic, Namo tassa bhagavato. So Namo tassa, tassa. It is a T, but with the mic I try to soften it. Yeah, and the P's, they sound like m. I've softened them a little bit because of the mic. Yeah, so the people online don't get the. Yeah. Okay, so this is the Namo Tassa. And let me just see if we have any questions here online. All right, I don't see any questions. Okay, so now we'll go to the ETP. So, like I said, I found this one to be more challenging, but some people find it to be easier, right? So it really just depends. So again, 4 times through. Here's the way it sounds. Iti piso emahakawa arahang sammasammuto vicacaranang sammuno sakato rokawitu Anutero purisa Dhamma sati satatawa manusarang Poto Bhagavati. Okay. If you chant this with Thai people, a lot of times they will end it really abruptly. It'll just be Bhagavati. They just stop it. But I think it sounds better to drag it out, so I drag it out. So again, from teacher to teacher, temple to temple, it sounds a little bit different because different people are doing it just slightly different. There's not just one right way. That would be permanence. But we understand the universal truth of impermanence. Things are different from place to place. Okay, so now I'll do it a second time and show you where the breath is. So take a nice deep breath coming off that last chant. And then in Iti piso emahakawa. There's a breath here. Arahang sammasammuto. Breath here. Vicacaranang sammuno. Breath. Sakato rokawitu. There's a breath here. Anutero purisa. Breath here. Dhamma sati satatawa manusarang. Breath. Poto Bhagavati. Okay, so that's where the breaths are. You guys might be hearing these breaths because there's like a natural pause there in the chant. Probably already heard it before I even told you about it on this one. Okay, so now we'll do it a third time. You guys join in and I'll guide you with the breath. So take a nice deep breath. Iti piso emahakawa arahang Samma Sambuddho. You forgot the guidance. Did you guys forget the guidance? No, I forgot it. Sorry. I don't usually give guidance. I usually do it with you guys. All right, so let's start from the beginning. Here we go. Iti piso emahakewa. Breath. Arahang Samma Sambuddho. Breath. Vichacharanang Sammuno. Breath. Sakatoro kavitu. Breath. Anutero purisa. Breath. Dhamma sati satatawa manusanang. Breath. Bhutto bhagavati. Okay. Now we'll do it a fourth time. Anybody need a drink? Man, you guys are like solid. No drink, no nothing, huh? You guys ready to rock and roll? All right. You guys ready? No guidance. Iti piso emahakewa. Arahang Samma Sambuddho. Vichacharanang Sammuno. Sakatoro kavitu. Anutero purisa. Dhamma sati satatawa manusanang. Bhutto bhagavati. Okay, nice. Sounding good. That one's more challenging, I think. But you guys sound great. Yeah. Any questions on this one? Okay, no questions. So here's what I suggest we do. How about we start from the top and we go through all three? No coaching, no guidance, no nothing. You guys game? Okay, let's do it. See? You guys are right on top of it. All right, here we go. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Mahakewa. Bhutang Mahakewanang Apivate-ami. Savakato Mahakewata Tammo. Dhammang namasami. Supatipano emahakewato. Sāvaka saṅkho. Saṅghang namami. Namo Arhasa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Arhasa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Arhasa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Iti piso emahakewa. Arahang Samma Sambuddho. วิจาจารนังสัมมุโนสคาโตโรกาวิตุอนุเตโรปุริสาดามาสติสัตตาตาวามนุสนังโอโตภาควาติ Okay, congratulations. Your first time through. Nice. Yeah. Okay. So here's my next proposal. I propose that we do all three chants. We go into meditation, we meditate, then we come out with the chants. What do you guys think? You guys game? Anybody need a bathroom break? Yeah? Why don't we take a little 5-minute? Yeah, a little 5-minute break. Give you guys a chance to empty out the organs, and then we'll come back. Okay, we'll do a little break for those of you guys online. Just 5 minutes or so. Yes. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to just chant, just like we just did. But then at the end of that, I'm going to come in with the guidance for the meditation. Then there's going to be that period of time of quietness, and then we'll come out with the chanting as well. Okay. So here we go. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Mahakeva Bhutang Mahakavanang Apivateyami Savakato Mahakavata Tammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipano Mahakavato Savaka Sangho Sanghang Namami Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Iti piso Mahakava Arahang Samma Sambuddho Vicacaranang Sammuno Sakato Rokavitu Anutero Purisa Dhamma Sati Satatawa Manusarang Poto Bhagavati. Okay, with the lower body and hands and arms comfortable, and the upper body erect, just close the eyes and start breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Here you're just looking to establish the breath, a nice, natural, steady, consistent breath. Not forced or controlled, just a gradual inhale through the nose, experiencing the full breath. And then whenever you're ready, exhale out through the nose. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. Your breath may not match up with the guidance that I'm providing, and that's okay. This is your practice. I'm just here for guidance. You can use this voice as a reminder that whenever you get to the next inhale, breathing gradually through the nose, developing a nice, natural, steady, consistent breath. And then whenever you're ready, exhale out through the nose. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. With the breath well established, start fixating the mind on the breath, either the sound of the breath coming into the nose or the sensation of air moving over the skin into the nose. The breath is the present moment. Fixate the mind on the breath, the present moment. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. With the mind fixated on the breath, whenever you notice that it moves off the breath, cut that off, let it go, and come back to the breath, the present moment. No need to observe the thought, label it, judge it, analyze it, or even try to figure out where it's coming from. Whenever you notice that the mind is moved off the breath, cut that off, let it go, and come back to the breath, the present moment. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. I'm going to be quiet now and let you do this work of focusing on the breath, cutting off and letting go anytime the mind moves off the breath. You have nowhere to go. There's nothing to do. No one needs you right now. This is your time to focus on the breath. Breathing in and out. อะระหังสัมมาสัมพุทโธมะขวาโอตังมะขวันหังอภิวาเทมิสวากขาโตภะคะวะตาธัมโมธัมมังนัมสสามิสุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆสังฆังนามามินะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะอิติปิโสมะขวาอะระหังสัมมาสัมพุทโธวิชาจารณังสัมมุโนสกขาโตโรกาวิตุอนุเตโรปุริสาดัมมาสติสัตตาตาวามนุสรังปุตโตภะคะวะติ Okay. You've already made your way out of meditation. Usually I say, slowly make your way out of meditation. But since you guys were chanting, you already made your way out of meditation. Yep. All right. How'd that go for you guys? Go okay? Sometimes it's hard to stay awake after lunch when you're meditating. I'm going to teach you how to fix that tomorrow. Tomorrow and Wednesday, I'll teach you how to fix that. All right. All right. Any questions from anything that we've been doing today? Anything we've been discussing? No questions? Okay. Well, I'll share with you guys what we're going to do tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to start our day with meditation. So if you'd like to come in and get the chanting sheets, we're going to be chanting and meditating right along with each morning. And you'll be able to get in the habit of doing that. And you'll be able to practice meditation with the chanting. So, you know, sometimes when people are doing the meditation with chanting, they, you know, either really like the chanting or they don't, right? If you feel a little bit odd chanting, give it a good try, right? Because whenever your mind is trying to do something new, it typically will reject it. It usually will try to reject something. And you don't really know whether something's going to be beneficial or not until you've actually done it several times. So you're going to need like a week or 2 or 3 or 4 of doing chanting with meditation to really have a perspective of whether it's helping you or not. So sometimes when people do something new, the mind is complacent and it doesn't want to do that thing, and the mind tries to push it away. So what I encourage you to do, not just with chanting, but with anything in life, is to try it. You know, try it multiple times before you form an opinion of whether that thing is helpful for you or not, or whether you enjoy doing that thing or not. So we're going to be doing that each morning and each afternoon, doing the chanting and the meditation. Then we're going to spend our entire morning on the Eightfold Path. the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. That's the core central teaching of the Buddha. That's where things really open up for you. We're going to take a mid-morning break because it's a pretty extensive teaching. It takes me about 2.5 hours to teach it to you, but I'm going to walk you through it slowly because that's the path to enlightenment. That is the teaching that you need to know inside and out, backwards and forwards, like the back of your hand. If you're interested in doing anything with the teachings of the Buddha, you would need to know that teaching. Then after our lunch break, we're going to come back and I'm going to teach you all the ins and outs of meditation. Because by that point, you would have meditated at least 3 times with me this morning, today, and then tomorrow morning. So you would have 3 meditation sessions under your belt by that point. So then I can teach you now all the ins and outs because you've had enough experience by that point that it'll start making a lot more sense to you at that point. So I'm going to explain to you the why. I'm going to show you how it connects to your training and how it's affecting your mind and all the ins and outs of meditation. So that's what we'll be doing tomorrow. Okay, so enjoy your evening, whatever you choose to do. Have a very wonderful and lovely rest of your day. We'll see you next time. Sawadee khap. Sawadee khap. You're welcome.